Jump in the NBA. Y'all see my background. I said today I'm not holding back my bias. I think y'all already know what it is if you heard this podcast once or twice.
I'm trying to see who all in that photo, man.
All right, man. Yeah, okay. All right. I think it's enough. Lakers pulled one out their ass as well, and the game that probably shouldn't have been as close as it was due to a lot of things that happened towards the end of the game. Great battle between Jokic, the Joker, put some respect on that man's name, and Anthony Davis going back and forth. So Lakers 2-0. They play tonight. Might be playing right now, but I got this going on, so I'm not even sensitive to it. But let's start off with you, Sean. Jumping there. What do you think about so far 2-0 up in the series? Has Anthony Davis proved anything to you so far?
Yeah, man. Davis doing what he's been doing all year. I mean, a lot of people, got out making all, you know how they do LeBron, man. Why he didn't shoot it and he went in. It's simple. He was cold then. That was the best thing they ever did.
Yeah.
AD, he scored the last 10 points, I believe. 2 threes and 2 buckets. Come on, the man that got you that for it. LeBron did his part at the beginning. I think they didn't. Only person scored for the Lakers for the first 7.5 minutes was LeBron. He scored all the points. Everybody else was 0 for 12. So I don't understand. You got a team, man. You ride whoever's hot. If LeBron was hot, you ride him. But AD was the one hot, so you ride him. But yeah, man, it was a good game. Especially that last quarter. That last quarter, man, I love that. To see the Joker going head to head with AD like that, they just hooping on each other. I loved it. I had posed the question earlier, who was the best center? And I said center for a reason, because I believe if we say big man in the game, I'm going to have to pick AD. But I asked who was the best center in the game. And I think it's Joker. A lot of people say it's the Joker, but a lot of people kept saying AD. AD ain't the center. I'm talking about true center. Who's the best center in the league? I think it's the Joker.
Yeah.
I think it's the Joker. Now, if I say who's the best big man in the league, I'm going to have to say AD. But yeah, it was a pretty nice game. I hope it be, I don't really care who wins. I hope it be just as entertaining tonight as it was the last game. That was a good game.
Yeah, I agree. It was a very exciting game. And AD was doing what AD has been doing since he got in the league, really, since his days with the Pelicans. It's just that he's doing it on the Lakers on a bigger stage in the conference finals. So it's just amplified. It's just bigger. It's just a bigger point, a bigger stage for him right now. So he's always been an all-around player. At that level, he's just doing it on a bigger stage, and he has a good number 2 guy with him in LeBron. And to what Sean was saying a minute ago about AD not being a center, I think he's a center. I think he plays more center than he plays forward when he's in the game. I think they play a lot of positionless ball anyway. So I don't know about the labels as far as forwards and centers, but he spent more time at the center spot than at the forward spot. So I would give him the best big man and the best center.
Man, I'm going to shout out Rondo. I don't even remember Rajon Rondo playing this year till he got to the bubble. I don't remember him doing much of anything until the Orlando hit. He had 9 assists the other night. He's been hitting big shots the entire time they've been down there. And quiet as it's kept in a lot of these games, when they need a bucket or when they need a key pass or somebody to lock somebody up, it's been Rondo at the forefront of all this. And, he's been around a long time. So shout out to Rondo, again, contributing when pretty much the entire season he ain't done much of anything. And if they get some of that from him tonight and the rest of the series, this will be a sweep.
Yo,
Rondo. What they call him, Tony? Tell them what they call him.
Who, playoff Rondo?
Yo, it's like you didn't see none of that. They call him playoff Rondo.
Yeah, he did the same thing in New Orleans when he was on the Pelicans. Man, he changed that whole complexion of the team in the playoffs. You're like, what? That's how they stunned the Blazers, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Rondo, that dude. Rondo, that dude.
So
in
the
playoffs.
opposite of Paul George is what you're telling me.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, sir. Copy that.
you're right. I mean, it's not much. I feel like it's not much to see here. I mean, the Lakers made that closer than it should have been, and LeBron did play like crap towards the end of the game. He was fouling and a couple of like turnovers. Like you could tell he was running out of gas.
He was tired.
That's the young gun from. That's the young gun time, and that's why this is the 100% reason why the Lakers went and got Anthony Davis. You needed that guy that you can rely on. And to Tony's point, he has been doing these similar type of things in New Orleans, and now on the biggest stage when the lights are the brightest, he's delivering. Some of us question his heart. Not everybody, but I heard people question his heart. Could he do it when he got to the big lights and the big moment? And he's proven that he can. So Lakers win that game. I still think the Lakers probably put at least one out. I think it'll be a gentleman's sweep at best. I would love to see the Lakers sweep it, but we'll see how it goes. Again, not much to see here when it comes down to a LeBron thing.
I think the Nuggets need to. I think the Nuggets need to push the ball all game. Keep LeBron tired. Keep him on his heels. Send him to the bench. Send him on the, make him foul. But push the ball all the time. Don't let that man rest, because he gonna get his if you let him rest. Don't let him rest. Just keep pushing it down his throat. They're young. They got to do it. That's what they got to do to win. But they don't do that. This series over.
With Rondo and LeBron, they control the game, and that's the beauty of what the Lakers have going on right now. Nobody controls a playoff game, and I can say this about a lot of players over the last decade better than LeBron. He has a way of being able to bring the ball up the floor, and he has a way of controlling the game. Remember in those Warriors series when he was keeping his game, the team in there, because he would do everything often. So, and then you got Rondo, playoff Rondo. I mean, they can try to push it on him, but does that fit what is Joker gonna be able to keep up to?
Right. True. I don't know if you'll be able to keep up with him, but you got to try something different, because what you already tried ain't working.
That's true.
They're coming down court half speed, setting up, stuff like that. Nah, try something else now, because that ain't working.
I think if they continue what they were doing in the second half, I think they can do it. But they turned that game around in the second half. They turned that around.
They did.
If I was going to continue what was working during the second half. If it ain't working, then you change it. But I would continue what I was doing in the second half.
You know what, y'all? I'm gonna be real in this moment right now. I'm gonna talk Luka Doncic, and I'm gonna talk Jokic. I guess I'm gonna say this as a black man, because I know from playing ball, on the street courts and college, everything, that when you see a white boy on the court, you automatically dismiss him a little bit. It turns into I got white boy Charles, or whatever his name is always white boy. You dismiss him. You have to go at this dude for him to prove that he's worthy to be on this court. We heard what Montrezl Harrell, what he said to Luka Doncic.
Right.
Bitch ass white. So I think that I know I do that a little bit. I see a white boy. You got to prove to me, dog, that you are a player that's worthy to be on this court. Jokic has got there. Doncic has got there, but it's some guys that any white boy, he has to prove it to me first.
Absolutely. Even your boy Larry Bird felt that way about white boys. He's a white boy. You know what I'm saying? He's like, you put a white boy on me, that's disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? So, so I felt that way too, playing ball and stuff like that. Like, oh man, we have the white boy in the court. I'm gonna have to take him. But I've played against white guys that, like, damn, okay, I better step my shit up now. So you gotta earn it though. You gotta.
And here's the thing though about dudes like Joker and Doncic. Those guys get to play pro with grown men at like 14, 15 years old. That ain't happening over here in the States. So them European cats, whether from Croatia, Slovenia, or wherever, they start playing pro at 14, 15. So they come to the league at 19 and 20. They're not pumped by American dudes. They're not. So that's a big difference right there as far as that's concerned. Like the European guys get to play in pro 8th and 9th grade. That's not happening over here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's a different time too, because like Doncic said, he said, well, he played pro. He started, I think, 16 or something. But he said the game was harder over there. It was more physical. He said it was more physical over there than it is in the States. So he already got a taste of that. So he ain't worried about players calling him out or anything like that. He gonna still play his game. You better step up. But yeah, it's a different world now.
I know he said it ain't more physical than over there. He just saying that. You know why he's saying that? Because he was a kid.
It's more physical.
This grown man.
Yeah.
It ain't more physical than over here. But believe that. He just was a kid playing with grown men, and it seemed like it was more physical. But no, it ain't more physical than over here. He lying.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I think it's pretty cotton candy over here, but
I don't think he'll be over here 13 handling his own with grown men. Trust me.
Nah, that's true. We got a point on that. The rules,
I don't think he was handling his own at 13 over there.
He played with him. He was on the team. He made the team.
I think he was 16 and older, though. He's talking about,
I don't think a 16-year-old coming over here doing that, bro. I don't think that's happening.
It's not that physical, man. It's not that physical. You can't touch nobody over here. You can body somebody over there. You can't touch nobody over here.
Hey, I will say this. A 15, 16-year-old guy's mentality here in the States, man, you're coddled. You babied over here. And over there, they just throw you in there. It's like, all right, you a 15-year-old, you made the team, good luck. Over here, you talking about I'm a 5-star player. Look at me and my AAU skills, my mixtape. Yeah, it may be more physical over here, but mentally, man, you might be stronger playing over there first and getting that European game. So there is a little bit of difference. Physically, yeah, here in the States, it's probably still more physical. But mentally,
because you still playing against people older than you. So yeah,
I got a question. All things equal, say you're 19 over here, you're 19 over there, or 16 over here, 16 over, don't matter. Why do you think it's more physical over here than it is over there?
Because I think it's they better over here.
Because of what?
I think it's more athletic.
I think they're better athletes over here. That's why.
Yeah, but that don't mean you're not a finesse player. You can still be an athlete and be finesse, because that's a lot of that over here.
I didn't say that what that meant. You asked me why do I think that. I'm telling you that. So
because he's a better athlete, so a better athlete mean physical? Like a more physical player?
Yes.
Nah.
Yes, I do. I guarantee you they don't.
Okay.
Nowadays, these kids, man, they start off with weights and everything. I mean, like full-time thing. It's like a time when that's all they do. They don't play the sport. They have times where they just go work out in the gym.
And then when they get on the court, they can't put their hands on, they can't touch you, they can't move you. But over there, they can do all of that. That's the physicality I'm talking about. You can't do nothing over here. Doncic can walk to the basket over here. He can't do that over there.
Now I see what you're saying. You're saying they play a more physical game. That's
what
you saying.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean.
That I can understand. Yeah, that I can understand. They might play a more physical game.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I think
you gotta misunderstand.
The lower the athletic ability, the more physical people get. I remember playing plenty of times. Everybody played that one guy in the Y. He got all the wristbands and headband on and stuff. He has no athletic ability, but he's gonna be physical with you. He's gonna push you. He might clothesline you if you come through the lane because he can't jump as high as you. So it does get a little bit more physical with guys that's kind of athletic inferior to you, so they have to take cheap shots. So I definitely agree with that. I've seen that all my life.
Yeah.
But
I just think the rules are different.
Yeah. But let's jump over to the Celtics and the Heat. A series that has went to the Heat a couple of times, and now the Celtics have rolled back into the series. They're going to play tomorrow. We'll see those guys get back to action. What are your thoughts on this series so far, Swift?
Man, Boston can't finish games, and that's the problem with this. Is the fact that they can't finish what's going on right now. You seen the big leads they had in game 1 and game 2 and just not, and even game 3 for that matter, and just not being able to finish the games. And you hear about Marcus Smart going off on them after game 2. I really like what Miami's doing right now, because right now Miami really knows their roles. Everybody kind of has what they need to do. Jimmy Butler could miss all 20, 25 shots into the fourth quarter. Guess what? In the fourth quarter, he's getting the rock. He's taking over. They got the guys that can shoot, Hero, Duncan Robinson. They got Adebayo down low. They just have a great team as far as everybody knows their role. And then for Boston on their side, man, Tatum, it really looked like he is really forcing things right now and just kind of trying to make things happen a little bit too much. And I think that's going to be the difference in this series right now. Miami's guys know their roles, and sometimes late in games, the guys from Boston, they don't know their roles as well. And you're seeing it the way that Miami's being able to finish games and Boston's not.
Man, I kind of agree with you about Tatum, because I said the last two games, ever since he got that block, he's been playing different. He's been playing different, man. It seems like something is wrong with him, man. But anyway, I'm impressed with Miami, but I think Boston's going to turn the tables around. And the reason why I think it's going to turn around, because now they got Hayward. I think that's going to make a big difference in their team. And I think the last game, it seemed like they adjusted on how to defend Miami in that pick and roll, and Miami kind of like turned the ball over a few times because it was a different defense against them. And then on offense, it seemed like Boston figured out that 2-3 zone they was running. So I think the series is going to turn around unless Boston come up with something different. If I'm looking like the way the last game went, I think Boston will tie it up in the next game they play.
I agree with everything Sean said. I think Boston figured out Miami, and because of that, they have the talent to take over the series, because they figured out how to break that zone. Using Hayward helps them break that zone, and Miami. Although I agree with what Swifty said about Miami, they know their role and all of that. I just don't think they have enough talent to sustain that for a 7-game series. They're playing above their heads. I think,
and Hayward could make the difference.
Yeah, I think he's helping them make the difference, and the fact that they figured out we got to get this ball down low behind the defense, because the defense is playing too far up to the zone. They're getting the ball behind the defense, and they hitting their 3-pointers. They breaking that zone. Miami got to figure something else out, because when they missing a lot of stuff in the paint against Boston. Boston getting easy baskets in the paint on them. So I think Boston figured them out. It's gonna be a different series now.
I think Brad Stevens, man, we got to give him a lot of credit. This is one of those coaching battles you want to see. I love to see Brad Stevens versus Eric Spoelstra. You talking about two guys that know a thing or two about some X's and O's. So it's fun seeing this tactical matchup go back. So Spoelstra wins the first couple of rounds. He figures out the zone against him. And now Brad Stevens comes back. He figures out a way to bust the zone and get the confidence of his players back. So it's interesting, man. That's what I thought. Coming into this year, the way that the Heat are playing over their head. I agree with that statement. They definitely playing better than anybody would have convinced me a few weeks ago. But to see these two guys go at each other, two great coaches that we've seen, is something that is spectacular in my opinion. You take those little battles into effect that you wouldn't even think. How many coaching battles have we had over the last few years in the NBA? See two guys that know what they're doing and actually going at it the way that we're seeing it now.
Facts. Not very many coaching battles.
I'm excited to see it, y'all. I think in the end, Gordon Hayward, him coming into the game provides a great lift, because the Celtics rotation wasn't that deep. Shout out to Reggie Thias. What's his name? Thias Thias. Hey man, my man can play. He does his job. He was dunk on you. He rebounds. Yo, my guy Thias.
He got some energy out there, man.
He got mad energy, cuz.
Yeah.
That's when you start.
Kemba Walker better keep hitting them shots.
He's got to.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. So hey, we'll see next year as it develops. let's move on to this thing that I've been wanting to talk about a long time. So again, Swifty, I guess you missed this last. So we did kind of get into the Clippers collapse against the Nuggets and everything that transpired. But now since this has transpired, it sounds like some people get some cold feet on Paul George. Who would have thunk it? After another bad playoff performance, another team is giving up on Paul George. So I think the Clippers are getting cold feet. I don't know if it's just the Clippers, but the teammates of the Clippers are not feeling what he's throwing out there. It sounded like he had a speech at the end of the season, and a lot of guys rolling their eyes like, you're the one that's talking about this after going 4 for 17 last game, things like that. So this is a juicy one, y'all. What do y'all think about Paul George? Is he going to become one of those journeymen that can't find a team? Or if you Clippers, do you just stay the course? It's just one more year.
Well, I found out some more information on this. So I guess the last game, the one they lost, Harold Montreal was like posted up, but he was kind of like, another guy was like next to him, and Paul George threw him a bad pass, inbound pass, and he lost it. They called a timeout because on the sideline, he was giving Paul George the business. We didn't know what was going on. One of the guys was saying on the radio show that they had all the team to get up and clap and cheer because Montreal was going in on Paul George so bad, and it was loud, and they was trying to block it all out. So that's what I heard on the radio today.
That's some juicy stuff right there.
Yeah, yeah, that is. Oh man, I think they're gonna be looking for takers for Paul George. I really do.
Shout out to Thomas Licky, y'all. Thomas Licky hit on a point that was so good about a few podcasts about the chemistry. Because I always question the chemistry too, but it seemed like they had it all together, for the most part. Kawhi doesn't talk a lot. Paul George would always say the right thing. So it seemed like the chemistry would work, but obviously they had some mad chemistry issues because it sounded like they don't really like Paul George. What do you think, Swift?
Well, here's the thing. To kind of speak to what Sean was saying, the stuff that came out in the locker room after Game 7 has to come from a player. And I bet you 95% chance that came from Lou Will or Trez Harrell, based on some conversations that you've seen him have with Paul George throughout the season. And again, you can make them speeches if you Kawhi. And you can make them speeches if you've had a season that warrants, hey, man, I stepped up all year, and it's a shame this went down in Game 7. So, yeah, you can't come out and have 0 points in the second half and then be like, guys, we got to stick together. No, that's about the time that you shut up and work on your game for next season. That being said, with Paul George, man, I pulled up his numbers just from last year at OKC. Man, 28, 7, and 5, and led the league in steals. Let's not all of a sudden call Paul George trash. This dude is pretty good. And with all the circumstances that happened with the COVID and everything else, maybe if you get this team together for a second year, get them a real point guard, maybe the Clippers go a little bit farther. But yeah, a lot of this is where Paul George has got to humble himself after having a pretty bad playoffs.
One of the things they said that Montreal said was, you fucking always think you right.
Hey, Swift, he always put up good regular season numbers. But when he gets to the playoffs, his performances are spotty. He'll have a good game, and he'll have 2-3 bad games. He'll have a good game, have 2 or 3 bad games. So Paul George is not playoff P. He layoff P to me. I've seen it since Indiana, where he's just too spotty in the playoffs, where his performances does not match his regular season. So I don't know why the Clippers didn't do their scout report on him. They should have known what they were getting into. But they wanted Kawhi so bad. That's the guy Kawhi picked to run with him. But they're gonna have to Swift's point. They're gonna have to get a point guard, bring my man off the bench, my man Beverly off the bench. He a player, but he ain't a point guard. You're gonna need a point guard to help run that team. And you're going to need a vocal leader out of Kawhi. He's going to have to say something. He's going to have to speak up. He can't just be all action. He's going to have to say something to these guys and get them on the same page. And of course, he got to take blame too because he pulled the choke job in Game 7, which shocked the hell out of me. I ain't never, but he gonna have to stop doing that damn what you call that? Picking which games he want to play. He gonna have to play consistently so they can build chemistry. They need to build chemistry.
That load management.
Load management. There we go.
Think about the picks that they gave up for Paul George. That's why I don't think you can give up on this now. I think they got
6
rounds on this year. I think they got how many picks do they have for them? 5 or 6 over the next 2 years.
6 first round, all the way to 2000.
How can you not make this work then? I mean, this has to.
You got to make it work.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just give up on this 1 year into it. If you got to go sign Chris Paul, if you got to make some moves that you don't want to make, you can't give up on this thing 1 year into it. Paul George is mad for you, man.
But guess what though? After next year, he got an option to leave.
I hope he take that option.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
You give up all those first round picks for that, and you're not sure you're gonna even be there.
It's the Clippers. They have to do weird stuff like this to attract the type of players that they want. They always make it look better, and they have to find ways to do unorthodox. That's why I said, look, I'll go sign a Chris Paul. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to maximize what I got because I don't know. I mean, somebody come and play for the Clippers, but if you lose Kawhi, you lose Paul, it signals to me that you're cursed. And why would I want to go to the Clippers and play even if Kawhi and Paul George can bring something together to their team? I'm never gonna play for the Clippers.
They got to figure out how to get Paul George. I mean, not Paul George, Chris Paul. Chris Paul showed me everything with the Thunder. He showed me he can manage. He can manage a team. He can put things in order and in place where it should be. And they need a leader like that. I heard the rumor about Derrick Rose, but he ain't the guy for them. Somebody with more vocal leadership is the guy for them.
Go back to the Clippers. Did he play for the Clippers once, Chris Paul?
Yeah. Chris Paul played for them. I don't know if he'll go back, but that's who they need.
I think he's gonna go. Or maybe I think Milwaukee gets.
Or maybe Rondo. Somebody like Rondo, he'll work out with them. He'll work with them.
Yeah. They need a floor general. They need a guy like y'all said, Swift and I was saying. You need a guy that can actually, in those moments, pick up that slack that you need. Because Paul George ain't gonna give it to you. If he ain't gave it to you in this many years, he'll never be that guy. You can't trust him to be. You can be the greatest, regular season performer, and he's a great regular season player. He's an all-star player. He does deserve credit for his game, but he's not that player in the fourth quarter. We haven't never seen it. How long has he been in the league? So I can't give that to him at this point.
I called it even in the regular season, bro. That's the reason why I went with the Lakers, man. I said, man, you look at them on paper, they supposed to be the best team in the league if you look at them on paper. But then I watched their games, Clippers. But when I watched their games, I was like, they never seemed like they played together to me. It didn't seem like they was like a team. It just didn't seem like a team. And that was the reason why I picked the Lakers. I picked the Lakers because they looked like they was the better team to me.
I agree that I agree with the part they didn't look like they played together, but I never thought they were the better team because they didn't have a big man. I just felt like you gotta have somebody in the middle. They didn't have a big man, so I never thought they were better than the Lakers. But I agree that they just never seemed like they played team basketball. It was like Paul George do his thing this game, Kawhi do his thing this game, or this half or that half. But it was never, all everybody on the same page type of thing.
I thought the Clippers were better on paper for today's game in 2020. Yeah, I thought the Clippers were a better team than the Lakers. And I had to admit that to myself as a Lakers fan. I said, when you look on paper, those guys, when you talk about Lou and Harrell off the bench, the firepower that they had, and defensively, what they should have been able to do with Paul George and Kawhi to lead off that defense, I thought that they would. I mean, we all thought they would at least get to the Western Conference Finals, man.
Yeah, I thought they would get there. Yeah.
Clippers always gonna clip. That's what Clippers do. The Clippers always gonna clip.
It's like people had expectations of the Clippers for the first time, and they just clicked. And they just did what they always do, right? Yeah.
So if we had a vote on it, let's take a vote on it. Swift, I'm starting with you. Would you say keep that team together or blow it up already? I just want to see where we are with that.
You don't have a choice. Sean just talked about the first round picks. You don't have a choice. You got to keep them together and get everybody in a room and tell them, hey, get your roles right, get worked out this fall, and maybe we come back this winter and do it again. But like all of y'all have said, if they don't have a playmaking point guard, a pass first point guard, this isn't going to work again. They'll win a bunch of games during the regular season, but it won't work.
Facts. Yeah, I don't think they need to blow it up. I don't think they can blow it up. I don't even think they should blow it up. I just think they better find out everybody's position, everybody's place on the team, and stick to it and get that point guard that's going to be that vocal leader and also that organizer on the court. They're going to have somebody to speak up that's got some clout, and somebody that's going to organize the guys on the court, because it's going to be the same outcome. They might get further. They might get to the West Finals, or they might even get to the finals. But in the end, I don't think they can prevail playing basketball without chemistry.
I think they'll be a fool to break that team up. They'd already invested too much in it. You might as well get the most you can get out of it. And like I said, they need to find another way to work together. I mean, Paul, like you say, Kawhi Leonard. Man, that dude, like, he just know he can do what he want to. That's what it seemed like to me. He just take off and don't play when he don't want to play. It's like, man, how you gonna be a champion like that? You taking too much time off. But yeah, they can't afford to blow that team up. They gotta roll with it. If they do, they the biggest fool that I know of. And it might be blown up anyway, and it might not be management fault. Because like I said, I've been hearing some things. The team is not too fond of him right now. They ready to get rid of Paul George. I'm telling you, I've been hearing. Yep.
They got bad chemistry. And a lot of people used to make fun of the Lakers at the beginning of the season talking about chemistry. Nobody cares that LeBron likes playing with AD and all this kind of stuff. And I always say, look, man, you can't put a high enough number on a team that likes playing with each other, because when times get tough, when you really need to rely on guys and things like that, it becomes so much easier. I played on teams that had terrible chemistry. I played on teams that had good chemistry. And my team, sometimes we had some worse teams that had better chemistry and went further than the teams with better talent. So it makes for a big difference, man. So wrap this up in the next episode. We got one more subject, y'all. We got